guys, in this video I'm going to show you the fundamentals and all the tips and tricks of using the Shiloh Chunky Blanket Loom. We are going to first start with a slip knot. So you're going to take your yarn, make this kind of mountain shape. You're going to cross this piece over, and then you're going to hold that. Make sure that loop is staying there. You're going to cross it over and bring that longer piece of yarn through that hole. You'll hold this shorter piece, which is now called your tail yarn. This is called your working yarn, the yarn that you are using. And you're going to just pull that loop to make a knot. And now you should be able to hold one side of it and pull the working yarn so you can make it tighter or looser this way. So to cast on the chunky loom, you're going to want to start with about a loop 3 fingers wide, and I do my fingers on the inside of the loop. You'll then start at either end of your loom. You can either have the slip knot closest to you if you want the blanket to work towards you, or you can have the slip knot on the other side and have the blanket work away from you. That is just your preference. So you'll take the slip knot, place it in front of the peg, put your finger through that slip knot just between the first 2 pegs, take your working yarn, not the tail, bring that around the peg, scoop that with your finger, and then bring it through your loop, just like that. And then you have a new loop. You want to bring that loop to where you can put your finger perfectly between the next 2 pegs. And again, bring the working yarn around, pull it through that loop, and there you go. Again, if you make it too loose like this, you could just pull that working yarn or to tighten it up. Now with your chain, it is always better to have it a little bit looser than too tight, because as you make your blanket end will start to curl. Okay, so I'm going to go just about to here. So when you get to the end of your chain, all you're going to do is simply place that last loop over the last peg. So now there's a couple of different ways you can do your blanket. If you want to have a nice braided edge, what you would do is you would skip the first loop of every row. So you'd skip that first knit of every row, but then knit the last one. Okay, so normally my yarn would be on the outside. I would pick up that last loop, bring my working yarn in between those 2 pegs, place that loop back down, pick up the next loop, and then knit through that one. So to knit, what you're going to do is you're pulling that loop slightly off of the peg, and you're going to take the working yarn, pulling it underneath that loop. So now you have a new loop in the back. You're going to pick off the old loop and put down the new loop. If you're wanting to have a tighter knit with better consistent tension, you can pull your working yarn to make it tighter around the peg. You do want just a little bit of wiggle room so you can lift off the peg. So then you'll simply grab that next loop. I like using my middle finger to push the yarn through. And then you'll place it back on, tug the working yarn, place it back on, and just keep doing that. And then when I get to that last one, I like to just tighten my initial slip knot a little bit. Sometimes that corner is just a little bit loose. That looks good. So moving on to the next row. I will make this side braided and I will make this side just a regular knit. So the other thing, you can just take the loop right off of the peg and then knit through it too. It's up to you, whichever you prefer. Eventually, you will get faster and learn what you are more comfortable with. There's not truly a right or wrong way to do this. So I knit my last loop and I'm going to place that working yarn in between the last two pegs, place the last loop back on the peg, and we're not going to knit through this one again like we did on the other one. All right, so this one, I'm knitting through this side, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull that piece of yarn back through. This helps you get a little bit of an idea. So you'll have wider spaces with some kind of twists in them on this side. And over here, you have that same braid that you have on your chain. This makes it just look a little bit more uniform. I'm going to go ahead and keep doing some simple knits. You will see those columns just start coming together. See that they're all uniform, you have straight lines, all of your loops are the same sizes. So now to cast off, all you will do is you will take your last loop off of the peg, you will do a smaller knit just because we want tighter corners. If you did a looser loop, it's going to leave a big loose corner. So I like to do this one about 1 to 2 fingers wide. I hold that on my thumb. I take the next loop, pull that one out. This one's going to be about 3 fingers wide. So I put my 3 fingers, same with how you did the chain. You're going to take that loop and pull it through the previous loop. So I take my pointer and my thumb and I grab it. So again, next loop, about 3 fingers wide. Take my pointer and my thumb, pull it through. You keep doing that all the way until you get down to the end. And now at the last loop, it doesn't really matter what size you make this one. You just pull it through and then you're going to trim that to be probably about 4 inches long. Doesn't have to be super, super long. And you're going to just pull that through the last loop. And then you can pull that tight, not too tight because you might break the yarn. And then just pretend this is a bigger blanket. You can see your cast off and cast on look the same. Your braided edge has that same look throughout. And then this is the other edge, but you can kind of see it's a little bit looser. There's some knots in here. Here they are next to each other.